backup in that House of Representatives. And I think we're going to have that in Robert Peters. Woo! Good evening, Chicago. Buenas noches. Welcome to Senator Sanders' Fight Oligarchy Tour here in the best city in the country, Chicago. I'm Delia Ramirez, your congresista, proudly representing the mighty 3rd Congressional District. And the most important thing for you to know about me, it's not my title, is that I'm a proud daughter of Guatemalan immigrants, Luis and Maria Ramirez. I am a citizen by birthright, an unapologetic defender of our immigrant communities, an unwavering champion of shared humanity and human rights, and a fighter for peace in a country obsessed with war. A member of Congress who comes from a working class family, fighting for my working class neighbors, demanding that Trump, his billionaire bosses, and all of the oligarchs profiting off the suffering of our communities get their hands off our health care, our housing, our land, our climate, our elections, our neighbors, and our futures. Chicago, I'm not backing down. Let me say that again. I am not backing down from this fight and this moment, because we all must be clear about where we stand when there's a fascist in the White House and when our democracy is on the line. For me, everything the Trump administration and their billionaire bosses are doing, cutting services Americans rely on, perpetrating mass deportations, attacking workers and their rights, persecuting human rights defenders, deploying the National Guard to democratic cities, undermining our civil rights, and yes, the genocide of the Palestinian people is all connected. And I know that the billionaire bosses, they want our resources, don't they? They want our land, they want our freedoms, they want our lives to secure their profit and advance their imperialistic, authoritarian agendas across the world. They are willing to rob us blind, leave us starving, displaced, detained, deported, and dead to enrich themselves. The wealthiest 10% in this nation are consolidating their power. They're stockpiling their wealth. They're suppressing dissent, and they're trying to destroy our democracy, all while they try to convince you that your immigrant neighbors are your enemy. Well, they're wrong, aren't they? You see, Trump promised a new golden age for America. Not for working people. I think you're right what you just said, BS there. But one ushered by an oligarch for oligarchs. And I don't have to tell you how dangerous, painful, scary times these are. You're living through them. And if we're being honest with each other and ourselves, we've been living through this for a very long time. Because we know that the hard times started way before the November 2024 election. Working families, black and brown communities, we've seen the cracks in the systems, and we know that they have never worked for us. We've heard detached politicians and billionaires brag to us about the American dream. Work hard, keep working, and you will achieve it. But you have worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck with no hope of a dignified retirement, and that is not right. You're still wondering, how the hell will I be able to put that down payment on that small house and buy groceries? You're counting your pennies daily and trying to make the impossible decision between paying your ever-rising rent, buying your prescription drugs, or finally getting that medical test you've been putting off. You too are crushed by the medical debt from that visit to the emergency room years ago, or by the student loan you took out when you were 17 years old with the hope of a better future. You spend thousands of dollars in fees, in lawyers, hoping that one day you will be out of the shadows. And still, you cannot become a United States citizen. You have worked hard for the American dream, and yet you still feel like you don't achieve it. Do you think that's right? No. Hell no. Say it with me. Hell no. But that is why we are clear that in times such as this, we have to build something better. And I know you're tired, but it is times such as this that demand so much of us. They require us to be brave, to resist being overwhelmed, and to do everything in our power to stand up and fight back. And it's why we're here tonight. Is that right? Stand up and fight back. Whether that's standing up to ICE and their unlawful, unaccountable, unconstitutional terror force, stand up and fight back against illegal and unconstitutional executive orders that attempt to defund education, public radio, and FEMA, whether that's calling out Noam and Homan and Miller and Trump and all of those that are profiting off of family separation, whether it's blocking the bombs provided by warmongers like Trump and used by Netanyahu to carry out his genocidal campaign, whether it's demanding the resources that belong to us, or whether it is taking our democracy back from the billionaires and foreign interests trying to buy it, because our democracy is not for sale. And folks, I know what's at stake at this moment, and I'm going to keep fighting even on the days when it's hard. And let me tell you, there's some really hard days, and some days will feel even harder. There are days when my safety and that of my family is threatened, when white nationalists question my commitment to you, my community, for upholding the multiracial, multicultural identities that make our nation beautiful. There are days when Trump and his allies demonize, dehumanize, and threaten our communities, and when unaccountable billionaires and their super PACs threaten to silence us. Us, the working class people who are unwilling to stay silent in the face of injustice. There are hard days. And on those days, it can be really hard to believe that a more just, loving, and compassionate world is possible. But let me be very clear with you today. I do believe a different future is possible, and I believe it because of you. Shout out to my alderwoman. I see her, Jessie Fuentes. I believe it because of champions like Senator Bernie Sanders, who continue to unapologetically hold the line against the interests of billionaires, against the oligarchy. I believe in us because of the brave progressive leaders that you see here, elected, not elected, building movement here, so many of them right here, including Senator Corina Villa. We are building a community that co-governs in favor of a democracy because of us, because there are literally millions of us, from California to Iowa to Nevada to Chicago and yes, Texas, trying to build a world where we can proudly pass on to future generations. It is us together that sustains my hope. And I am hopeful because every day I see us standing up to this tyrannical government. I see you protecting our neighbors, practicing solidarity, rejecting a status quo that isn't working for working people, refusing to let the rich and powerful pit us against each other, building progressive power in our communities, and demanding every single damn thing working people deserve to thrive. So let me close by saying this. In Spanish, I know Some folks don't like when I speak Spanish and may not love my bilingualism, but I don't give a damn. In Spanish, hope is translated as esperanza. And esperanza comes from the root word esperar, or to wait. We wait anxiously, eagerly, hungrily, and we hope for a new day to dawn, for the arc of the universe to bend further towards justice, for collective liberation, for freedom, for an America that works for working people. And I am here to remind you that we are the ones that we have been waiting for. Let our hopeful yearning for a different and better future and our righteous anger and the injustices we see lead us to action. May it lead us to organize, to fight back, to stand firm, to resist, and to make sure that Donald, Elon, Jeff, and all of those billionaires pay their fair share. And once we get them to pay their fair share, let's get their money out of our elections. Let's get their money out of the White House. And get their hands out of working people's pockets and off our services. Yes, Social Security and Medicaid included. So that we win an increase in the minimum wage and we get to a living wage, affordable housing for all, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, unions for all, comprehensive immigration reform, and that's just the beginning. Because I believe in a more just, loving, and compassionate world, and I know it's possible because I believe in us, in our movement, and what we can do when we stay together. So if you're not yet part of a progressive project here in Chicago, I encourage you to join us. There are tables of organizations outside. There are folks all over here. There are folks from my team. Sign up, organize, let's stay ready. So let us be hope where there's despair. Let us be light in dark places. Let us be love where there is hate. Let's fight like heaven and hell for each other and for a future we're proud on to pass to our children. Let's take on the oligarchs and build with and for the people. And so, what better way to do that than to welcome to Chicago and to this stage someone who has taken on the oligarchs his entire life. Someone who has fought for working people his entire career, whether it's at a city hall or the halls of Congress. He has spoken truth to power even when he's had to do it alone. Help me loudly welcome to the stage the one, the only, Senator Bernie Sanders!